It's your man Abuamerican back in the studio, driving down the streets of Doha in this beautiful winter weather. And check it out, well, it's close to winter weather. Something I wanted to talk about was a topic that was discussed in a Facebook group I'm in, and that's the necessity as both men and women to learn how to defend yourself. Now, the world has become an increasingly dangerous place, as we know. Attacks taking place all over the world, and there's only so much you can do. You know, imagine you're like in the mall in Kenya, and may Allah protect us all. There's not much you can do with hand-to-hand combat when a guy's got an AK-47, but, that's not an excuse not to learn how to defend yourself, because dudes got to reload, some dudes just flip out on the spot. Sometimes opportunity presents itself, and you got to be ready, you got to be prepared. Because one day you might just be walking down the street and a dude just decides he's going to jump you with a stick, or with a knife, or just with his bare hands if you're a woman, because he thinks he can overpower you. Now, learning of self-defense isn't enough. You have to fight. You have to practice as much as possible with as many people as possible. Now, why is this? Because I've seen some of the, what you can say, better fighters in my particular, personal realm, like just totally lose their cool when they go into an arena and start fighting. So they'll get out there, adrenal stress will take over, dude will get grip failure, breathing all heavy, they'll run out of breath, and then he'll be like, and then he's just totally, cardiovascularly tapped out, and he hasn't really done anything. This is adrenal stress. This comes from like that feeling of confrontation. Like, oh my God, when it's real, in a competition, it's intense. Now imagine a real situation where possibly life or death or physical, well-being is at risk. It's going to be insane. Now for me, I enjoy fighting. I've competed several times in several jiu-jitsu competitions, some stand-up competitions where you're doing striking, and to be honest, adrenal stress is exceptionally minimal for me. I don't care if this dude's a monster, 2% body fat, ripped up beast. I don't care if he's a little skinny, like my last match, a little skinny, like Oriental guy from Canada. The adrenal stress is gone. Now, if I get into a confrontation on the street, and it does happen, unfortunately, you got some crazy people out here in Doha, believe it or not, there's zero adrenal stress. Because I'm like, I have fought guys who have trained for years and years and years. These guys are muscular, they're ripped up, they're strong, plus they have technique, and we know power is nothing without technique. The big muscles don't scare me, because I fought dudes who have big muscles and they have technique. So when I run into the average guy on the street and he's trying to play tough guy, I'm like, man, I'm gonna break this dude's neck. First and foremost, he's not ready physically. He's probably not trained, and if he is, I fought people who are trained. The guy is clearly like stressing out. Yeah, okay, whatever. You know what? Even if you beat my ass, excuse me, even if you whip my butt, you're not gonna do it easily. You might knock me down with a good blow, you might have good stand-up, but you know what? I'm gonna get your leg and I'm gonna do a Polaris on you, and I'm gonna heel hook you and tear your ACL in half, and you're never gonna walk right again. I'm not worried about losing a fight, because even if I lose, you're not gonna walk right for the rest of your life. You're not gonna have like full function of your limbs for the rest of your life. That's because I have trained and I am ready for confrontation. If you are training your wife or your daughter or your sons for, personal protection, competition, whatever else, make sure they compete and train with someone regularly, different people, because that's going to bring out adrenal stress. You're not going to want to lose. You're going to be worried. What does he know? What does he doesn't? What doesn't he know? And eventually, when he has confidence in his technique, or her, you come to realize that, hey, you know what? This technique works. And if I just follow these basic principles of the technique, be they stand up or not, stand up or jiu-jitsu, you're going to eventually say, hey, you know what? Dang, this works on anyone and everyone, even if they've got skills, even if they got training. That's where repetition comes in. That's where like variation in your opponents comes in. It's very, very important not to just train, but to train with multiple people, surprise people. It's a little bit more difficult Islamically for our women, because we as Muslims, for all those who out there don't know about Islamic culture, we don't have physical contact with the opposite sex that you're not related to or married to. So for a woman that's Muslim, it's a little bit more difficult. In Germany, there was a lot of women training. They were non-Muslim and they were training in jiu-jitsu. They were quite good. You could see it. They were confident in the technique, triangling the heck out of people, you know, really choking them out, heel hooking people. So it is possible, but you just got to find a way, maybe, you know, because this was directed to some like Muslim sisters out there, you know, to get a sister group or whatever, and just, you know, practice jujitsu and like learning, you know, as a group of women. What else was there? There was something else. Yeah, that's basically it. I'm driving slow because I'm behind the cops. I don't want to see them on my phone. So yeah, repetition, variation. Repeat your technique over and over and over. Perfection is not what you do best, it's what you do most often. And then variation in opponents to get over that stress of fighting someone different or new. So that eventually you get practice. Okay, this technique doesn't work like this, I have to tweak it. There's techniques out there, you learn it, but you have to learn a way to apply it that works for you. So, you know, you don't move away from the technique, you just adapt it to your body, to your fight style. And yeah, you do that, and I promise you that fear of, you know, the unknown in terms of like human confrontation with another person who might run up on you on the street as a woman or a man or your family, you're gonna be ready for him. Even if he's trained, you know, you're going to be able to have a technique or you know, ability that brings you closer to his level, even if he's higher level than you. Because if you're completely untrained, you're going to be completely unready. You're going to be completely unprepared, and he's going to march over you. And that's 90% of the men in the world. I don't care what you say. You are unprepared if you're not training. I have to treat a man. I have a homie. I love this dude to death. His name is Leo. Excellent boxer. I can't run over that guy with my jiu-jitsu. I can't even get close to him because his hands are so good. So for me, I'd have to come up with a technique if I even wanted to get close to this guy. He's prepared. But the average man, he doesn't have hands like him. I can compete with the average man on a stand-up who might attack my family or myself and really just tear him down to the wall. And even if I can't, I can maybe get close enough to take him to the ground and just completely destroy him. If you don't have anything, stand up. If you don't have anything in terms of ground game, you're just a victim waiting. You're lucky. You're lucky because no one's attacked you and you live in a safe place. And that's a beautiful thing, but it's not smart. You don't go to a test, you don't go to work, you don't go anywhere unprepared. You go prepared for whatever you're gonna do. You're mentally prepared to go to driving, to work, whatever you do in life, you're always prepared one way or another. This is no different. You know, the world, like I said, is becoming a more and more dangerous place, and it's not enough that we are men in the sense that they used to be, you know, the fighters and defenders of families, because first and foremost, feminism is stealing that from us. Secondly, with the way the world is run now, where we're always working, we can't always be there for our families, so we have to teach them, give them the tools to defend themselves and to protect themselves. And some of those principles that I gave, you know, should help achieve that goal, inshallah ta'ala. So if I missed anything, hit me up, comment, whatever else. And yeah, that's it, people. Abuamerican out. I'm going over here with Team United. We're about to watch our fighters in Abu Dhabi kick some butt. All right, guys.